The moving truck pulled up to the quiet suburban street in Maplewood, New Jersey, just as the summer sun dipped low, casting golden hues over the manicured lawns. I, Alex Thompson, stepped out, wiping sweat from my brow, feeling the weight of starting over after a messy breakup back in the city. But before I could even unload the first box, my new neighbor, a tall, rugged guy with a warm smile, strode over, handed me a cold beer, and said something that stopped me cold. "Welcome to the neighborhood, but watch out for the nosy folks around here. They've got opinions about guys like us." His name was Jordan Hale, and from that first moment, I sensed he knew more about me than a stranger should. I'd chosen this town for its supposed quiet charm. A place to rebuild after coming out to my conservative family had blown up in my face. Jordan, with his easy confidence and piercing blue eyes, didn't fit the mold of the typical suburban dad I expected next door. He was divorced, he mentioned casually as he helped carry boxes into my new ranch-style house, with a teenage son who lived with him part-time. But there was an undercurrent in his words, a knowing glance that made my stomach twist. Had he clocked me already? In a place like this, where rainbow flags were scarce and church steeples dotted the skyline, being out wasn't exactly advertised. As the evening wore on, Jordan stuck around, insisting on helping unpack the kitchen. We talked about everything from my job as a graphic designer to his work as a high school teacher. He shared stories of growing up in the South, where expectations weighed heavy, and how moving north had been his escape. But then, over pizza we ordered, he dropped the bomb. "I saw your profile on that app last week. Small world. Huh? Figured I'd say hi in person." My fork froze midair. He'd recognized me from a dating app I'd barely used since the move. Was this a setup? A threat? In a neighborhood where whispers traveled fast, this could ruin everything before it started. The next few days blurred into a mix of unease and unexpected camaraderie. Jordan showed up with tools to fix a leaky faucet I hadn't even noticed, his presence both comforting and intrusive. I'd catch him watching me from his yard, that same smile playing on his lips. My mind raced with questions. Why out me like that? Was he flirting? Or was this some game? The town itself added to the tension. At the local grocery store, I overheard murmurs about the new guy living alone, their eyes lingering too long. Jordan, it turned out, had his own history here. Rumors swirled that his divorce stemmed from personal issues, code for something the conservative crowd disapproved of. When I confronted him one evening on his porch, beer in hand again, he admitted it outright. "Yeah, I'm gay too. Came out after the marriage fell apart. Folks here aren't thrilled, but I stay for my kid." That revelation shifted everything. Suddenly, our conversations deepened, touching on the isolation of being queer in a straight-laced suburb. Jordan spoke of the school board meetings where parents railed against inclusive curricula, how he'd fought quietly to include LGBTQ history in his classes. I shared my own scars. The family dinners turned silent after my announcement, the ex who couldn't handle the public scrutiny. But as bonds formed, so did conflicts. Jordan's son, Tyler, a sharp-witted 16-year-old, started hanging around, asking questions about my life that felt too probing. One afternoon, while Jordan was at work, Tyler cornered me in my driveway. "Dad says you're like him. Is that why you moved here? To be near other?" You know? His tone wasn't hostile, but curious, laced with the confusion of a kid navigating his father's truth in a town that preached traditional values. The drama escalated when Jordan invited me to a neighborhood barbecue. It was meant to be casual, a way to integrate, but whispers followed us like shadows. Mrs. Ellis from across the street pulled Jordan aside, her voice low but audible. "We don't need that influence around the kids." Jordan brushed it off with a laugh, but I saw the hurt in his eyes. Later that night, alone in my living room, I questioned my choices. Had I jumped from one closet to another? Jordan's initial approach, bold and unapologetic, now seemed reckless. What if his openness dragged me into the fray? Yet, there was an undeniable pull, a spark in our late-night talks that made the risks feel almost worth it. As weeks turned to months, our friendship teetered on the edge of something more. Jordan's gestures grew intimate, a hand on my shoulder that lingered, shared meals that felt like dates. But societal pressures mounted. At work, a colleague mentioned hearing talk about my neighbor, warning me to keep distance. My own family, though distant, called with concerns after a cousin spotted us together on social media. Is this wise, Alex? You're just settling in. The internal conflict raged. Embrace this connection or protect myself. Jordan, sensing my hesitation, pushed back one rainy evening. Life's too short to hide. I did that for years, and it cost me everything. His words hit hard, forcing me to confront my fears. The turning point came during a town hall meeting on school policies. Jordan stood up, advocating for anti-bullying measures that included protections for LGBTQ students. The room erupted. Some applauded, others jeered. I sat in the back, heart pounding, torn between support and self-preservation. Afterward, as we walked home, Jordan's voice cracked. I can't keep pretending for them, but if it's too much for you. He trailed off, the unspoken question hanging between us. That night, for the first time, I reached for his hand, a small act of defiance in the quiet street. The days following the town hall buzzed with fallout. Anonymous notes appeared in mailboxes, including mine, warning against deviant influences in the community. Jordan shrugged them off as cowardice, but I could see the toll, bags under his eyes, a forced cheer in his voice. Tyler, too, bore the brunt. Kids at school teased him about his gay dad, pushing him into fights he didn't want. One evening, Tyler showed up at my door, bruised cheek and all, seeking refuge. They say I'm gonna turn out like him, like it's a bad thing. His vulnerability cracked something in me. I offered ice and advice, drawing from my own teenage struggles. But inside, anger simmered at the town's bigotry. Jordan and I grew closer amid the chaos. Our evenings evolved into routines, cooking dinner together, watching old movies, sharing dreams deferred by societal norms. He opened up about his marriage, a facade built on denial, and the pain of losing custody battles laced with homophobia. The judge looked at me like I was defective. He confessed, tears rare but real. I shared my breakup, how my ex had prioritized appearances over us. These revelations forged a bond, but not without friction. Jordan's activism clashed with my caution. He wanted to march in the nearest pride parade, while I feared the spotlight. Hiding won't change anything, he'd argue. But it keeps me safe, I'd retort. A major conflict arose when Tyler's school project on family diversity included interviews with us. Jordan encouraged it, seeing it as progress, but I hesitated. What if it backfires? Parents could pull their kids. My fears proved founded when the project leaked online, courtesy of a nosy classmate. Social media exploded with debates, some supportive, others vicious. Keep that agenda out of our schools, one post read, garnering hundreds of likes. Jordan faced scrutiny at work, his principal suggesting he tone it down. The pressure tested our budding romance. Arguments flared over dinner, my voice rising. Your fight is noble, but it's dragging me in. Jordan's response was quiet but cutting. Maybe you're not ready for this. For me, the emotional turmoil peaked during a family visit. My sister, Emily, drove up from Philly, her concern evident. Over coffee, she eyed Jordan warily as he mowed his lawn next door. He's out and proud, Alex. In a place like this, be careful. Her words echoed my doubts, stirring old wounds from our family's rejection. That night, I confided in Jordan, expecting empathy, but he challenged me. Are you ashamed of us? The question stung, leading to our first real fight. Doors slammed, silences stretched. For days, we avoided each other, the street between our houses feeling like a chasm. Reconciliation came unexpectedly through Tyler. He organized a peace dinner, his youthful optimism bridging the gap. As we sat around the table, awkward at first, stories flowed. Laughter over mishaps, tears over hardships. Jordan reached for my hand under the table, a silent apology. But the reprieve was short-lived. A petition circulated to remove Jordan from teaching, citing moral concerns. Supporters rallied, But opponents were vocal, turning neighbors against us. One ally, Mr. Ramirez from down the block, shared his own story of immigrating as a gay man, offering solidarity. Yet, the division deepened, forcing choices: stand together or apart. As tensions mounted, our relationship evolved into quiet defiance. Stolen moments in backyards, whispered plans for the future. But external forces pressed in. My boss, hearing rumors, suggested remote work to avoid distractions. Jordan's ex-wife called, accusing him of exposing Tyler to instability. The drama felt relentless, each day a new battle. In a heated moment, Jordan proposed we move away together, start fresh. We could build something real, away from this noise. The idea tempted me, but roots I'd barely planted held me back. Was love worth uprooting everything? The climax built toward a school board election, where inclusive policies were on the ballot. Jordan campaigned tirelessly, dragging me along to rallies. I spoke up for the first time, my voice shaking but firm. Everyone deserves to feel safe, to be themselves. The crowd's mixed reactions, cheers and boos, mirrored my internal storm. Afterward, Jordan pulled me close. That took guts. Our kiss, brief but bold, in the parking lot, sealed a commitment amid uncertainty. The election results rocked the town. The inclusive measures passed by a slim margin, a victory hard-won but bittersweet. Jordan's position at school was secured, but the backlash intensified. Vandalism struck. Slurs spray-painted on his garage door, tires slashed on my car. The police dismissed it as pranks, their indifference fueling outrage. Community forums online buzzed with debates. Was progress worth the division? Supporters organized cleanup crews, but detractors boycotted local businesses allied with us. The social conflicts highlighted deeper rifts: class, race, religion intersecting with sexuality in ways that made alliances fragile. Amid the storm, our relationship deepened, becoming a sanctuary. Jordan's vulnerability surfaced in quiet nights. Fears for Tyler's future, regrets over lost years in the closet. I confronted my own demons, calling my parents after months of silence. I'm happy, finally, I said, describing Jordan without apology. Their response was tepid. We worry about you. But it was a start. Tyler, thriving in the aftermath, joined a GSA club at school, his confidence blooming. Yet, his questions grew pointed. Are you guys like boyfriends now? Jordan and I exchanged glances, the label feeling both right and risky. A controversial twist emerged when Jordan's ex, Sarah, re-entered the picture. She petitioned for full custody, citing the unstable environment post-election. Court dates loomed, testimonies painting Jordan as reckless for his openness. I was subpoenaed, forced to defend our life under scrutiny. The judge, an older man with stern eyes, questioned my role. How does this relationship benefit the child? My answer, heartfelt. It shows him love is love, no matter what. The proceedings dragged, emotions raw, Jordan's frustration boiling over in arguments with Sarah, old wounds reopening. Society's gaze amplified every move. At a local festival, we walked hand in hand, drawing stares. Some smiled approvingly, others whispered. A confrontation with Mrs. Ellis escalated. You're corrupting the youth. Jordan's retort was calm. Or teaching them tolerance. The exchange went viral locally, sparking editorials in the town paper. Pro, time for change. Con, preserve our values. The debate raged, forcing residents to pick sides. Friends distanced themselves. New ones emerged, like a young couple down the street who shared their coming-out stories. Internal choices weighed heavy. I considered a job offer in the city, an escape hatch. Jordan sensed it. If you go, I get it. But I'd miss this, us. His words tugged at me, highlighting the emotional stakes. Tyler's plea sealed my resolve. Don't leave, Alex. You're like family now. Staying meant embracing the fight, a decision that redefined me. But doubts lingered. Was I strong enough? The drama crested during the custody hearing's final day. Sarah's lawyer grilled Jordan on his activism. Doesn't this put your son at risk? Jordan's response, poignant. Hiding who I am would hurt him more. The courtroom hushed as I testified, detailing our everyday life. Dinners, homework help, laughter. The judge ruled in Jordan's favor, a small triumph amid larger battles. Outside, we embraced, relief mingling with exhaustion. But victory came at a cost. Sarah's bitterness lingered, promising appeals. As life settled into a new normal, subtle shifts occurred. Neighbors warmed, some apologizing for past silence. The town, though divided, began healing. Our relationship, tested and true, flourished in the open. Yet, controversies persisted. A proposed Pride event met resistance, reigniting debates. Jordan and I navigated it together, our choices reflecting growth. From caution to courage. Post-hearing, the neighborhood's pulse quickened with change. The Pride event, though scaled back, proceeded. A picnic in the park with rainbow banners fluttering. Jordan emceed, his voice steady despite hecklers on the fringes. I stood beside him, handing out flyers, my heart swelling with pride. Tyler performed a spoken-word piece on acceptance, earning applause that drowned out boos. But not all was harmonious. A counter-protest formed, signs reading "Family First." Clashing ideologies in plain view. Media coverage amplified the divide, interviews probing, "Is Maplewood ready for this?" Personal ramifications unfolded. My family visited, awkward but earnest. Dad shook Jordan's hand stiffly. "Takes guts, what you're doing." Mom hugged Tyler, whispering encouragement. The reunion, fraught with unspoken tensions, marked progress. Yet old habits died hard. Cousins unfollowed me online, their silence louder than words. Jordan's school year started with new policies in place, but pushback from parents led to heated PTA meetings. "We won't let this indoctrinate our kids," one father bellowed. Jordan countered with data on bullying stats, his passion unwavering. A shocking revelation added layers. I discovered Jordan had been the one to anonymously tip off the school board about discriminatory practices years ago, risking his job. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, hurt by the omission. His reply, "Didn't want to scare you off." The secret meant to protect sparked trust issues. We argued fiercely. Secrets like that could destroy us. Resolution came through therapy, a joint decision to communicate openly. The process unearthed deeper emotions. Jordan's fear of abandonment, my anxiety over vulnerability. Social conflicts intertwined with romance. Dates turned activist. Volunteering at LGBTQ centers, mentoring youth. But romance faced tests. A jealous ex of Jordan's surfaced, spreading rumors online. "He's using you for cover." The lies stung, forcing confrontations. Jordan blocked him, but damage lingered. Doubts crept in during quiet moments. "Is any of this real?" I whispered one night. His assurance, a tender embrace. More than anything, the narrative's intensity built as external pressures mounted. A national news story featured our town as a microcosm of America's culture wars, interviews painting us as symbols. Protesters picketed our street, chants echoing. Police intervened, but fear settled in. Tyler's school suspended a bully, a win, but retaliation followed, online harassment targeting him. We rallied as a unit, reporting threats, strengthening bonds. Choices defined us. I turned down the city job, committing to Maplewood and Jordan. "We're in this together," I declared. He proposed subtly, a ring in a quiet moment. Not marriage yet, but a promise. The gesture, romantic yet grounded, solidified our path. But controversy swirled. A lawsuit against the school for promoting homosexuality, with Jordan named. Legal battles loomed, draining resources and spirits. Through it all, emotions ran high. Joy in small victories, sorrow in setbacks. Our story, once private, became public fodder, sparking debates on forums. Heroes or agitators? The town's evolution mirrored our own, slow, contentious, but forward-moving. As autumn leaves fell, the lawsuit gained traction, drawing national attention. Pro bono lawyers stepped in, turning our home into a strategy hub. Jordan's resolve hardened, This isn't just about us anymore. I supported him, but exhaustion set in, nights sleepless, worrying over Tyler's safety. Community support swelled. A fundraiser covered legal fees, allies marching in solidarity. Yet, opponents doubled down, petitions gathering signatures to recall board members. Pivotal moment arrived during trial testimony. Jordan took the stand, recounting years of subtle discrimination. Denied promotions, whispered slurs. His poise cracked recounting Tyler's bullying. No child should fear being themselves. I followed, detailing our life. Love isn't a threat. Ignorance is. The courtroom drama unfolded like a script, objections, cross-examinations probing personal lives. Sarah testified against, her words bitter. He's prioritizing his lifestyle over family. The judge's ruling favored us, dismissing claims as baseless, a landmark for the town. Victory celebrations were muted. Scars remained. Neighbors reconciled, some extending olive branches. Barbecues inclusive, dialogues opened. Our relationship, forged in fire, emerged stronger. Plans for travel, adoption discussions whispered. Tyler flourished, his resilience inspiring. But reflections lingered. Had we pushed too far? The town's transformation, while positive, came at personal cost. Lost friendships, heightened scrutiny. In quieter times, we pondered choices made. Jordan's initial bold welcome, once shocking, now seemed fateful. What if I hadn't said anything? He mused. My response, we'd have missed this. Emotions intertwined. Gratitude for growth, sorrow for pain inflicted. Society's evolution felt incremental, debates ongoing. As winter approached, life normalized, our story fading from headlines. Yet the impact endured, youth emboldened, policies entrenched. We stood together, hands linked, facing whatever came next. Was Jordan's bold approach in revealing his knowledge from the start ultimately the right choice? Or did it unnecessarily endanger their budding relationship and community standing?